My goal with this is to talk about Dota theory. The game is really complex, and we can break it down into more interesting parts and try to apply them to this replay. If we look at the game, we can see the full draft. The first thing to look at is how the lanes match up. So Razor vs Lina mid is sort of a even lane. I think it used to be Lina favor, but nothing to say at the major did pretty well versus Lina mid with Razor, and now it's a more even matchup. They picked TI10 into Luna, which was a bit weird to me, maybe just for the other things that TI10 gives, but generally he's pretty weak versus Luna. So OG are vulnerable in their top lane. I mean, Naga versus Sand King also means that Sand King's going to have eventual pressure on the Naga Siren, which means he will eventually kick out Naga and be able to start hitting this tower creeps, because Naga Siren just can't lane versus Sand King at a certain point.
We're starting off and OG has a problem with their laning phase, that both their side lanes are going to lose.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I don't know if TI10 bottom is supposed to lose, but Abaddon Luna is a very strong lane. And something that Fada does a lot is he sort of pre-shields before he gets to the lane, which makes it really easy to trade before even the creeps meet. OG has a problem, as he said. Seb has no items because he's going for this new meta HOTD rush. So what OG does this game is they start 3 heroes top. And the reason why this is good is because, first of all, there's like some potential for first blood if Abaddon uses this shield carelessly. Second of all, you won't get zoned out by some double shield here because, you know, you just have 3 heroes, so you can push your way into the lane. Shield is one of the best trading spells at level 1. Armor and block both apply to shield, so it's 110 actual HP as opposed to like Hood where resistances aren't applied. And then it's a pretty big range on the explosion, so you can hit both heroes with it.
So this kind of covers multiple bases. As you said, Naga Siren isn't going to be pressured by a double melee lane.
Yeah, exactly. Especially Sand King, who sort of has to push the lane in order to farm. And here we can see, like, Seb, he comes up here, and he has no items. If Abaddon's just allowed to hit him with Luna, he's going to lose a lot of regen. Like, they're going to have to burn their self right away. So they come up here, and these 3 heroes, it makes it so that Tundra can't zone out TI10 here. Because of this starting top with 3 heroes, OG are sort of able to enter the lane. And we can also see a little bit in the bottom lane.
What does the Nick Sand King do when Naga Siren rolls up? And look, he's got so much armor.
Yeah, exactly. He's really tanky. Apparently, he has 2 tower buffs on him, but he has 10 armor under the tower, and he's noticed that Tundra 3-3, he just takes Caustic, so he instantly pulls the wave into tower so that he's able to just CS under his tower safely and not get double waved. OG, despite having like 2 losing side lanes, I think they're okay with the outcome. Like, at least they're playing Dota. They're gonna end up losing both side lanes anyways, but it could have been really bad for them. Bottom lane is a very independent lane. There's no pressure coming in on Sand King, and there's not really any pressure coming on Naga Siren. So both supports are able to play for that a bit. I think that Tundra sort of make a mistake here, because in middle lane, there's like some super battle going on where both heroes are just wailing on each other. And I think they missed a bit of communication here from 9. Because if he had communicated that this lane was pushing in, Thompson's going to get his bottle here, but he's going to use all his resources. If he had communicated for Snaking to come over here and take this water in, he would have had a huge resource advantage in lane. Like, Thompson can't leave this lane right now because there are creeps under the tower. And Snaking, instead of wandering around a bit, he would have been fine to leave Sand King because he already took the wave. He could just ran this way and he would have secured this water in. Then Thompson has low on resources, 9 has his own water in, and they could have pressured mid very hard from that. It's like a very simple move, but it would have made a huge difference. The end result though is that because they do have 2 winning side lanes, Tundra are ahead in both of those. Luna has really good CS and Sand King has just sort of been maximizing. As a result, he has like a 5-minute Vanguard. He's super tanky and nothing can touch him in this lane. The other thing I want to talk about, like, there's some aggression coming in here. Okay, so Thompson solo kills Lina, which is really big, of course. And
yeah, I mean, like, what a difference that would have been if we had the Knicks taking that water rune earlier.
Exactly.
Right? Like, maybe that results in first blood on Thompson instead, and then 9 has a huge resource advantage over him. Then, you know, that same fight that we just had would be 9 with an extra 400 gold, or at least wouldn't be giving away that big boost of gold. So, like, these little things, they, like, I love the fact that we're going over the minutia of Dota, because so many decisions can snowball and have a greater effect on the game.
The other thing I wanted to mention this game is, a lot of people ask me, like, why won't my core give me lanes? I thought this was a really good example. You have to do like some operant conditioning for your cores, where you give them positive reinforcement by giving them stacks and being like, good job, take these stacks, and then you steal the lane away from them. So Notel, he wants a lane right now. He makes some stacks, and then he gets to take bottom lane. And then Sumel's like happy, Notel's happy because he's getting some EXP here. It's better than just kicking your core out of lane.
You're telling general supports, like, hey, You know, don't think about it in a way of like, I wish this guy would give me a lane. You got to offer him an incentive to leave the lane. You got to go stack. So he's like, oh, I want to go farm those stacks. And then you get to take the lane over. And then you get the solo experience. You get your fast level 6. And the game just feels better.
Exactly. I think Dota's a lot about give and take. I think the sequence of events at 8 minutes sort of set up early game and sort of game defining for OG. Sanking has full control bottom as Nagasaran can't lane at all and he's killed the support. Luna has max aura, which means she wants to hit a tower. What this means is that Luna has to be really scared. So right here, Skitter decides to go farm these neutrals. What I think he should have done is he should have TP bottom and helped his team take this tower really quickly because he has 4 points in aura. They also know that at some point they've seen, or they will see, that Seb has HOTD, which means that Luna does not want to lane against him anymore because he just has this powerful item that's going to allow him to pressure her, potentially kill her with the centaur creep that he gets. Sanking at this point in the game, it's 8 minutes in, he has Soul Ring Vanguard, he is completely unkillable under his tower. Even if the enemy brings like all 5 heroes to kill him, if he's under his tower, his team will just TP and kill them all afterwards because he's just too tanky. What this means is that you have all this information, you need to make the correct decision. The end result is they killed Skitter, he even uses his TP to try to escape, and they kill Fada, which gives a lot of map control to OG. So Saksa plays these 2 beautiful wards as well to set up this play, right? He gave some info on mid lane saying we can't really attack it, and they're able to just sort of run into the jungle. And I want to talk a little bit about how they set up, because Notel, he dies bottom, and he instantly TPs top when he respawns, and Thompson, he guesses wrong on the rune, but he doesn't get mad about it, he just thinks about his next play. He kills the mid wave from the top left, which I think is really good. When he kills this, it moves him closer into like an aggressive position. He sees a Luna on the ward, and he just finishes off this wave. OG are all instantly collapsing onto the Luna. It's a quick read on the map, they manage to get these 2 kills. Notel makes a pretty cool move where it's 9 minutes in, but he's still pulling the wave because he understands that they can't pressure the Sand King under his tower. And 3-3, there's no information for him on the map. He doesn't see anything.
He's just sitting there going like, where's my creep wave?
Yeah, there's no creep wave. He doesn't see anything. Like, they have a defensive ward here. This tower's still alive, and no one's showing from OG. So he tries to maximize still, which is it's a really greedy play, right? And what happens is OG just sort of punish him. Sand King's here, we're going to blow Disruptor ulti, we're going to blow Ravage, we're just going to blow everything and kill the Sand King. You can see sort of the entire laning stage advantage that Tundra had was sort of eliminated in the past 3 minutes from OG. They killed 3 heroes, they moved Tundra around. By moving them around, they defended bottom tower for long enough that they were able to trade it out for top tower. Towers only give you map control if you can push the creep wave past where they were. The TP score doesn't matter as much as people think. The creep wave going further determines a lot. They only go to where the tier 1 is, and you don't get any map control from it at all. If they're not killing the creep wave, then you know something's up, right? They're making a move, and then you can read that move, and then all of a sudden they made a move without pushing the lanes first, and their map is just shrinking on them because they didn't do the proper steps. Because of this map control that OG is exerting, there's not that much for Tundra to farm. Like, you can see all 5 of their heroes are huddled around the bottom side / triangle. It's never a spot you want to be in. As a result of that, like 9, he's trying to get anything he can. He tries to farm this small camp, and now Thompson has his timing here with his BKB. He just BKBs and they just kill 9. The glimmer of hope is that Razor has BKB on cooldown, and for the first time they've had this bottom lane pushing in. Because they understand that this bottom lane is going to give them some information, Skitter is sort of able to push out top. Because of this double wave, Razor showed down here, they're like, okay, we need to try to kill this guy. We cannot allow him to constantly destroy our map by playing up here while, you know, someone plays down here and they're just playing on 2 side lanes. We have to do something about him. Tundra tried to do this execution on him, and no, it doesn't work. Seb is too tanky, they end up taking this fight, and OG just fully 5-man wiped them here. This fight was actually really close. They got 2 kills onto OG. I think it's just the supports that died. So this is something that I like to do as a coach, is to break down a team fight and go through it really slowly and talk about what should have happened in the fight. It's not about calling out mistakes, but again, it's about setting up pattern recognition because, okay, this is how we have to take team fights the next time. Like, maybe we have to help our backline more, maybe we have to coordinate our spells a bit better, maybe our calms in the fight have to be more calm, stuff like this. Seb tanks a lot of damage here. He basically trades his Ravage for Epicenter and a bunch of mana and resources from the Tundra side. They decide to take this fight on OG. But what happens here is he baits them in, he's being cocky, he's
literally stops moving.
He stops to bait them in so he can chat wheel. He turns back a little bit bit, and that's because he knows his team. Like, they've communicated, we're coming, we're smoking up. And he takes even more spells here. So now Sumail, he gets the sleep off. The execution is a bit off because they missed the sleep arrow onto Skitter here. What I think should happen in this fight, ideally, is they should arrow this Luna. They should disrupt roll on top of him so that Abaddon can't shield off the arrow. Luna should basically die for free. You know, so maybe some Naga illusions, maybe some Razor Nail, maybe some double leap Starfall, but Luna's dead off the bat. This would have sort of guaranteed the fight win for OG. Because they actually end up missing this arrow, Tundra can win this fight. I want to show the audience sort of how close some of these fights in Dota are. Like, sometimes it's just one spell going off. But what happens here is that 3-3, he actually blinks into the Disruptor ulti. And then they hit the stun on Razor, but the communication isn't good. And no one's like sort of saying we stunned Razor. But what could have happened is 3-3 still could have Burrow struck the Razor. They could have blown up Razor with Laguna and Eclipse while he's stunned before he can get off BKB. OG would have no damage left because they've already used Ravage. And Nagasiren's just a pathetic hero who doesn't do anything at this point in the game. So I think after this 18-minute fight, the game is very secured for OG. You basically just have to stop Tundra from farming and get map control. Usually your flowchart is like you get Roshan, and this Aegis allows you to kill a tier 2, which allows you to take the outpost, which means that you can fully control the map. Then the game's just sort of over. Maybe you go high ground with that Aegis, maybe you wait for the second one so you get that also valuable shard and cheese, but you have full map control. Hey, OG, they're a really quick team, so you do see them go for these plays where they try to get 9 here, and they barely miss out on the glimpse. But it would have been simpler if all these lanes were pushing in, and then, you know, maybe you just smoke and execute on him right here. Or, you know, they could have just waited, because they don't have Ravage and Song yet. They have all the options when you're ahead. So Tundra, they are feeling desperate still. We don't know what to do. Let's just jump this Tidehunter once again, not even 50% HP, and OG, they just come and clean up. They kill 3 heroes here, and now, like, the map is completely for OG. Sometimes you just make mistakes as pro players. It just happens.
Dota's a game of mistakes.
It really is. By design, like this incredibly complicated game that you can't do everything correct in. It's very easy, like, again, to like, we're in the replay, we have all the vision, you're like, oh, this should have happened. It's much harder to execute that in game. It actually ends up being a 59-minute game, and OG actually end up winning the next fight, even against Aegis with some amazing spell casting, and the game bounces around a lot before Tundra eventually take the game. But my notes are done, so...